Chairman, I want to thank you for your latitude here, because, clearly there's something pretty important happening in our city as it relates to libraries. I want to state as clearly as possible that I am, the more and more that I think about this, I'm at the position where I cannot support the closing of libraries without understanding why that's happening. And frankly, I don't think that I can't sit here as an elected member of this body and tell you that I understand why that's happening. And so if my sense is, I know that there are people in the community who care about these libraries who couldn't tell you why it's happening. Also, I can't support it without feeling as if every single cost-cutting measure that was possible, whether we deem it as symbolic, trivial, or large, has been explored before we've gotten to the point of closing a library. That being said, that means that I don't support the closing of libraries, because I haven't been convinced of both of those things yet. My growing up in this city, this is the only city I've ever known, and the libraries to me played an important role in my life. I remember the joy I had when my mother would bring me to the Hyde Park Library as a kid. I expressed this to you, Amy, where I was to read a long time, and to me, I had no idea that was an educational experience. It was like a field trip when I went. As I completed my master's degrees in 2007, were it not for the people at the Copley Library helping me and walking me through my own research projects, I don't think I would have been able to complete it. And those were everyday working people. When we talk about closing libraries, we're not only talking about the loss of the community, of losing that treasure. We're also talking about the working men and women who are in those libraries, who gave their life to this city, and they're being told in this short period of time that their livelihood is at stake, and they don't know why. And I don't think that's appropriate. I'm also not ridiculous. I know how to look at math. I know that numbers have to add up. I get that. But I want to agree with my colleagues who have stated it earlier in this very hearing that this is not enough time. I don't believe that 2 months is enough time to figure out the answer to these questions. And my ideal situation would be that we would find a way that these questions would be dealt in a longer period of time, in a more transparent, open, with the public, with the workers, with the members, the 300,000 members of your library who take out their library cards, and that they're all a part of this conversation, figuring out, well, what's the best way of delivering services, what's the best way of making this budget balance, what's the best way of raising our funds. And so until we get to that point, I think my position is as clear as I could possibly have made it. I'm excited to go through this process. I want to thank you, Mr. Chairman, for doing this so quickly. I know how difficult the schedules are. And I just want to share with you a story that the chairman gave me about his own district, the Mattapan Library, which is one of our gems. And he said the Mattapan Library is such a hit that the kids are choosing to go there after school as opposed to go someplace else. We should all be walking around with smiles on our faces hearing that story, and this is what the libraries mean. So with that, Chairman, I'll wrap this up, but it's important that we really do think about those factors, the workers who are doing the work there, the people who use these libraries, the communities that depend on them, and whether or not we honestly feel those people were involved in this process and that they were involved in a way in which their input could actually be heard before the deadline that's thrown upon us.
Well, thank you very much,